Hey everybody, welcome back. We are on chapter 6. Remember, we're working on the book As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. This is chapter 6 called Visions and Ideals. Now, before, really quick here, Visions and Ideals. I mean, it's kind of a cheesy title actually, but this is a terrific chapter. Now, if you're feeling right now that you're ready to throw in a towel, maybe you're an entrepreneur, you're ready to throw in a towel, you're ready to quit, I want you to watch this video, listen to this chapter, because this chapter is fantastic. And if you're trying to manifest, maybe you're trying to manifest your dream house, your dream car, your dream career, millions of dollars, or, a specific salary, no matter what it is, and you're ready to quit, you think things don't work, I want you to listen to this chapter. This chapter is fantastic, and it goes along with staying in the game. Don't quit. Okay, so this is a fantastic chapter. So let's dive into this and get rocking and rolling. So chapter 6, Visions and Ideals. The dreamers are the saviors of the world. As the visible world is sustained by the invisible, so men through all their trials and sins and sordid vocations are nourished by the beautiful visions of their solitary dreamers. I love that. I mean, that's a huge sentence right there, but I love that. And what I want to say here, really quick, let me highlight this. Is when James Allen says, "As the visible world is sustained by the invisible." Okay, what he means here is like a lot of everybody, even myself, we're really into Neville Goddard. Okay, and you set an intention, you go inside your imagination, and what you see in your imagination, you drift off to sleep, is actually going to come to you in your 3D world. This is what he means here. Now, he's pretty much teaching Neville Goddard, but Neville Goddard wasn't alive at this time. You know what I mean? So this is before Neville Goddard's time. So when he says the visible world is sustained by the invisible, what he means by that is your visible world came from your imagination. So what you're imagining, what you're thinking, is you're creating in your visible world. I mean, this is powerful. And I'll read this one more time because in the green is very important. The dreamers are the saviors of the world. You're a dreamer. Okay, I'm a dreamer. Okay, the dreamers are the saviors of the world. As the visible world is sustained by the invisible, so men, through all their trials and sins and sordid vocations, are nourished by the beautiful visions of their solitary dreamers. Humanity cannot forget its dreamers. It cannot let their ideals fade and die. It lives in them. It knows them as they it knows them as they realities which it shall one day see and know. The composer, sculptor, painter, poet, prophet, sage, these are the makers of the afterworld, the architects of heaven. The world is beautiful because they have lived. Without them, laboring humanity would perish. He who cherishes a beautiful vision, a lofty ideal in his heart, will one day realize it. I'll say this one more time. He who cherishes a beautiful vision, you who cherish a beautiful vision, a lofty ideal in your heart. What he means is your intention. Whatever you want, you have that passion of what you want. You have that the passion in your heart. This is a life I want. I really want to do this. And then he goes on, he says that one day you will realize that one day it will become true. That's why he says, he who cherishes a beautiful vision, a lofty ideal in his heart, will one day realize it. Columbus cherished, he's talking about Christopher Columbus here. Columbus cherished a vision of another world, and he discovered it. Copernicus fostered the vision of a multiplicity of the worlds in a wider universe, and he revealed it. Buddha beheld the vision of a spiritual world of stainless beauty and perfect peace, and he entered into it. Cherish your visions. Listen to this very closely. Cherish your visions. Cherish your ideals. Cherish the music that stirs in your heart, the beauty that forms in your mind, the loveliness that drapes your purest thoughts. For out of them will grow all delightful conditions, all heavenly environments. Of these If you but remain true to them, your world will at last be built. So what he's talking about here, especially at the end, right here, he's really talking about persistence and being consistent. But let's read it one more time. If you but remain true to them, your world will at last be built. What he's meaning, the same way as Neville Goddard teaches, is you set an intention, you go inside your imagination. Inside your imagination, you're living your dream life. Then you drift off to sleep. Then in your 3D world, you live in the end, dwell in the end. And then Neville Goddard says you persist until what you want is visible, has come true in your visible world. Okay, that's a part that people kind of miss with Neville Goddard, is that Neville Goddard has stated that he's never seen it fail. That the law of assumption always works. Okay, he's never seen it fail. The only way it fails is if you lose your vision, is if you actually quit, is if you don't persist. That's the only way. That's the only way it will fail. But if you stay the game, you stay focused on what you want, it always comes to you. And this is the words by Neville Goddard, that it always comes to you. And this is what James Allen is saying also, that if you remain true to your intention, if you remain true to your passions, remain true to what you want, no matter what it is, your world will at last be built. It will come to you. To desire is to obtain. To aspire is to achieve. Shall man's bestest desires receive the fullest measure of gratification, and his purest aspirations starve for the lack of sustenance? Such is not the law. Such a condition of things can never obtain. Ask and receive. So he's wording it a little bit funny here, but he's really talking about when he says desire is to obtain, to aspire is to achieve. All he's saying is when you desire something, you have to obtain it. What he means by that, you have to get it. It has to come to you. When you desire that dream house, it has to come to you. When you desire that dream car, it has to come to you. When you desire that dream job, it has to come to you. Remember, desire is just another word for your intention. It's another word for you believe it's going to come to you. When you really desire something, you really believe that it's going to come to you. That's you have to play with the words here. Sometimes when someone says, "Oh, have faith, it's going to come to you," but what's another word for faith? Another word for faith is believe. Okay, believe it's going to come to you. Now, what's another word for expect? If you really believe something's going to happen, okay, set aside your manifesting for example. If you really believe something's going to happen, or maybe you really believe something's going to happen negative to you, you expect it to happen. Okay, so when you really believe, you really want something, you expect to get it. Okay, now we do this in small things. We do this with mediocre things. We do this with negative things. Okay, now if you really believe today that you're going to walk in your job and your boss is going to be mean to you, well, you kind of expect it to happen. Okay, we do this with little small things, and it always comes true to kind of verify how we're thinking is true. But the same thing is true when we're looking at big things. The same thing is true if you're looking at your dream house or your dream car, your dream job. You want to be a millionaire. You want that $200,000 salary. If you really believe that's what you want, you expect it's going to happen to you. This is what James Allen is meaning here. When you desire is to obtain. If you desire something, you believe, you expect to get it. Then he goes on and says, to aspire is to achieve. All he's talking about here is really from the Bible. He's taking a verse out of the Bible, the New Testament, where it's saying you ask and you receive. If you ask for something, you have to receive it. Okay, that's the power of the universe. That's the power of universal law. Okay, we just have to come to terms with it and really believe. Now, when we ask and receive, this is working for us. But what's happened is the law's working against us a little bit, because what we're asking and receiving, what we really believe and expect, really is our secret thoughts, but we're kind of using it in reverse. What's happening is we're using it in a negative way, and that's why we have negative things coming into our lives, or we have things that we really don't want coming into our lives. So it's working, but it's working in reverse. You know what I mean? The laws are working for us, but it's working in a way that we don't want. So all James Allen is saying is that when you're focused on your bigger things, that dream house, that dream car, that dream job, the same thing will happen. If you ask for it, if you believe, you're going to expect to get it. When you ask, you will receive. Dream lofty dreams. I love this. Dream lofty dreams. Dream big dreams. Have big dreams. Have big passions. Have big things you want. Nothing is too small for the universe. Nothing is too small for God. Dream lofty dreams. And as you dream, so shall you become. Listen to this. This is so powerful. Dream lofty dreams. Dream big dreams. Don't hold you back. Be a kid again. Okay? Kids do this stuff automatically. Okay? They have big passions. They have big dreams, big things they want to do. When they're into something, it's big. Then usually as parents or adults or when they go to school and they're school teachers, they start lowering their dreams. They start telling them, come back to reality. That's not going to happen. Maybe they don't say it just like that, but indirectly that's what they're doing. Okay? So as an adult, we've really grown out of this. Okay? We've really gotten a bad habit. Okay? This is why manifesting isn't working for us, because we've really gotten into such bad habits that we really need to go back being a kid again. Go back being a teenager again. Go back when we were really excited. Even if not even a teenager, maybe an older teenager, maybe 18, 19, maybe in your early 20s when you were really excited about life. You were really excited when you were first time you were an entrepreneur. You're working really excited. You're having fun. It wasn't even about the money. Had nothing to do with the money. You weren't even concerned with it. You were just so excited. And if you think back in those states where you're so excited, isn't it amazing when you think back, everything seems to be working out for you. Everything seems to be coming to you. When you're in that state of excitement, you're in that state of passion. You're in your awe, you're in your moment. But at some point, and I've experienced this, at some point when we get older, okay, I'm in my 40s, so at some point when we get older, we kind of grow out of it. Maybe we have a bad experience. Maybe we listen to the wrong people, and we grow out of it. Maybe people tell us, well, Chad, you have to start being an adult. Maybe as we grow older, we have more responsibility. That happens as well. Now all of a sudden, you have a car payment. Now you have insurance. Okay, now you have to make money to do that. Now all of a sudden you move out from your parents, and now all of a sudden you have rent, all the stuff, groceries, and all the other bills that come with that. Maybe you get in debt. You got credit card debt. Now you got to pay for that. Then maybe you have a significant other, or you get married. Now you have the higher expenses of that. Then you have kids. Now you have way more responsibility because you have kids to support. So then what ends up happening? You have all this responsibility. And you don't do it on purpose, but you have all this responsibility, but you lose your joy. You lose your joy in life. You're not having fun. You're not having fun at work no more. And you wonder why things are not working for you at work, because you're not having fun with it no more. When back in the day, you would be in your awe doing it. Okay? Maybe you're an entrepreneur, but you're not having fun with it no more. It's literally just like you work in a factory, like you have a regular job, and you hate that job to death, but yet you're an entrepreneur. See, what we got to do is this, something I'm working on. What we got to do is we got to go back in that stage that we used to be, where we just got up and loved doing what we're doing. That's what manifests to us when we're in a statement of joy. We're doing what we love. We're hanging out with people we love to hang out with. We're going to manifest at that level, but that brings us up to a higher vibration. So I'm going to read this one more time to you. Dream lofty dreams. As you dream, so shall you become. Your vision is the promise of what you shall one day be. Your ideal is the prophecy of what you shall at last unveil. Isn't that so powerful? Dream lofty dreams, dream huge dreams, have big goals. And as you dream, so shall you become. So what he's doing, he's going inside your imagination. Okay, when we dream lofty dreams, we're inside our imagination, just like Navigato taught. Okay, Navigato taught, what you see in your imagination can come to you. You can be. Okay, if you can see it in your imagination, you can have it in your 3D world. This is what he's saying. Dream lofty dreams. Dream big dreams. Because as you dream, as you're inside your imagination, so shall you become. It will become a reality inside your 3D world. Your vision is a promise of what you shall one day be. Your ideal is a prophecy of what you shall at last unveil. The greatest achievement was at first, and for a time, a dream. The oak sleeps in the acorn. The bird waits in the egg. And in the highest vision of the soul, a waking angel stirs. Dreams are the seedlings of reality. He brings it up again. Dreams, your imagination, are the seedlings of reality. What does that mean? It means your dreams. When you dream, when you sit back and you're just dreaming, he's not calling it imagination, but that's what he means. When you just sit back and I'm daydreaming. I'm daydreaming about what I want. I'm daydreaming about my dream house. Okay, I'm daydreaming about that dream job. I'm going inside my imagination. And inside my imagination, I'm in first person, so I'm actually doing it inside my imagination. And what he's saying, your imagination is what you see in your imagination are the seedlings of reality. Meaning that you're planting the seed, and the more you go in your imagination, the more you dwell within your imagination, those seeds will sprout. Those roots will get stronger, and it will come to you in your 3D world. That's what he means. Your circumstances may be uncongenial, but they shall not long remain. So if you but perceive an ideal and strive to reach it, you cannot travel within and stand still without. Listen, you cannot travel within and stand still without. What he's saying is you cannot go inside your imagination and see these wonderful things you want and it will not come to pass. That's what he's saying to you. If you see it in your imagination, if you see it within yourself, it has to come out of you. Remember, that's how manifesting works. It works from within out. So what's within you is coming out. That's what's manifesting in your world right now. But if you're harboring resentment within you, you're harboring negativity within you, you're constantly making fun of people, you're constantly pulling out the negative with people, that's what's inside you, that's what's coming out of you. That's what you're manifesting in your 3D world. So it works both ways, positive and negative. That's how universal law works. That's why he says, you cannot travel within and stand still without. Whatever within you has to come out, has to manifest into your 3D world, no matter if it's what you want, or what you don't want. Here is a youth hard pressed by poverty and labor, confined long hours in an unhealthy workshop, unschooled and lacking all the arts of refinement. So here he's talking about factory work. This is now there's still factory work today, but this is back in 1902 where most people worked in a factory. But he dreams of better things. He thinks of intelligence, of refinement, of grace and beauty. He conceives of, mentally builds up an ideal condition of life, the vision of a wider liberty and a larger scope that takes possession of him. Unrest urges him to action, and he utilizes all his spare time and means, small though they are, to the development of his latent powers and resources. Very soon, so altered has his mind become that the workshop can no longer hold him. Isn't this very true? Now he's working in a factory. Even factories today are, in my opinion, most of them are horrible. Most of them, they don't obey the labor laws. They don't give you breaks. They don't give you your 10-minute, 15-minute breaks. They don't give you lunches. Now, I'll be honest with you. Lots of times when I came back in 2022 to visit family, I was here for 1 year because that was my nephew's his senior year in high school. So I wanted to be here through his whole senior year. And during that time, I thought, well, I'll make a little bit more money. I'll get a job in a factory. I never worked in a factory a day in my life. And it amazed me. And I worked in a lot of was I kind of jumped around. I worked in like a lot of factories around this area, and every single factory was the same. It was like stepping back to the 1940s and the 1950s, which I wasn't alive then, but I was really amazed how they treated people, the language, the aggression. People would actually get in your face and scream at you. The language, they would curse at you at work. Then on top of the breaks, you're working on concrete, you're standing the whole time. Even if you had a sit down job, they would literally take the chair away so to force you to stand, and you're standing on concrete. Then on top of that, you're working in the immense heat, but they wouldn't have air conditioner in a factory. Then when you took your breaks, they would only give you a 10-minute break, but you would work in the farthest part of the factory. It would take you 5 minutes to walk to the break room. Then they wanted you back on the floor in exactly 10 minutes. Then when you took a lunch, a lot of these places would only give a 20-minute lunch. By the time you got off the floor to take your lunch, you only got like a 15-minute lunch. And it's such manual labor, and we're inside the United States. All this stuff is illegal, but yet this stuff goes on. Okay, so when he writes this stuff that, here's a youth pressed by poverty and labor, and he confined by long hours in an unhealthy workshop. That's what he's meaning. He's in a factory, okay? They're not paying him very good. He's in poverty. He has a labor job. So I can just imagine he's in a factory. He has to work, 12, 15 hours a day. They don't treat him very good at all. Just like this stuff still goes on today. Okay, people don't want to confront it, but it still goes on today in these factories. All these factories should be shut down, or they should go through massive lawsuits until they finally get their act together. But even in the United States, when they place these factories, they put these factories in small towns because usually in small towns there are less lawsuits. That's why they put factories in small towns, because people don't complain as much. So anyway, going back to this example, is he's working in poverty. He has this huge labor job. He's in this factory. He's not treated very well. It's very unhealthy. But then he starts working on his mind. And it says he started dream better things. He started to think more intelligent. He started to be kind of refined and grace and beauty all in his mind. No matter he was surrounded by poverty, surrounded by this horrible job, his mind was focused on advancement. His mind was focused on more. His mind was focused on positivity. And it built up to a point where James Allen says, very soon, so altered his mind, become that the workshop can no longer hold him. Like he grew bigger than the place he was at. You ever heard that? You have to grow bigger than the place you are. Once you grow bigger than the place you are, that place can't hold you no more. You have to move on. The laws of the universe are going to step in and move you from that place. It has become so out of harmony. Listen to this. It has become so out of harmony with his mentality that it falls out of his life as a garment is cast aside. And with the growth of opportunities which fit the scope of his expanding powers, he passes out of it forever. Years later, we see this youth as a full-grown man. We find him a master of certain forces of the mind, which he welds with worldwide influence and almost unequaled power. In his hands, he holds the cords of gigantic responsibilities. He speaks, and lo, lives are changed. Men and women hang upon his words and remold their characters. And sunlight, he becomes the fixed and luminous century round which inimmutable destinies revolve. He has realized the vision of his youth, and he has become one with his ideal. And you too, youthful reader, he's talking about you, he's talking about the readers now, will realize the vision, not the idle wish of your heart. Be it base or beautiful, or a mixture of both, for you will always gravitate towards that which you secretly must love. Listen to this is so powerful. And he says it so good. I mean, sometimes he's saying things and he's using words that we don't use nowadays, and sometimes it's hard for me to pronounce because we don't really say that in a sentence. But he's saying this is so powerful. Let me read it to you one more time. And you too, youthful reader, will realize the vision, realize your passion, realize your attention, what you want, not the idle wish of your heart, be it base or beautiful, or a mixture of both. For you will always gravitate towards that which you are. Listen, this is so powerful. He says, you will always gravitate towards that which you secretly must love. Now he's talking about the secret you. Isn't it amazing how the secret you, your deep-rooted beliefs, okay, your secret thoughts, you will always gravitate towards them. They will always gravitate towards you. That's why it says you manifest from within out. So I love that. For you will always gravitate toward that which you secretly must love. Into your hands will be placed the exact results of your own thoughts. You will receive that which you earn, no more, no less. Whatever your present environment may be, you will fall, remain, or rise with your thoughts. Isn't this so true? Whatever your present environment may be, okay, no matter what environment you're in, maybe you're in a good environment or a bad environment, maybe you're in an environment you don't want to be in, you'd rather be in a beautiful, rich environment, but he's saying it doesn't matter. Okay, whatever environment you're in, three things are going to happen. Either you're going to fall, either that environment is going to break you, you're going to fall, or you're going to remain in that environment. You're just basically going to accept where you are. You're going to remain in it, no matter if you like it or not. You just basically grown to accept it. Or three, you're going to rise with your thoughts, your vision, your ideal. You're going to rise to get out of that environment. You will become as small as your controlling desire or as great as your dominant aspiration. In the beautiful words of Stanton Kirkham Davis, you may be keeping accounts, and presently you shall walk out of. Now this is a long little quote by Stanton Davis here, and let me start over because it almost goes on for like a whole half page. You may be keeping accounts, and presently you shall walk out of the door that for so long has seemed to you the barrier of your ideals, and shall find yourself before an audience, the pen still behind your ear, the ink stains on your fingers, and then and there shall pour out the torrent of your inspiration. You may be driving sheep, and you shall wander to the city, and open mouth shall wander under the intrepid guidance of the Spirit into the studio of the Master, and after a time he shall say, I have nothing no more to teach you. And now you have become the master. Who did so recently dream of great things while driving sheep? You shall lay down the saw and the plane to take upon yourself the generation of the world. The thoughtless, the ignorant, and the indolent, seeing only the apparent effects of things and not the things themselves, talk of luck, of fortune, and chance. Isn't it so true today? Even this is now when he published it in 1902. Now all his examples he's going back to the 1800s or the mid 1800s. So even though this is published in 1902, he's really talking the mid 1800s here. So he's even talking at least 150 years ago. And this is all true today. This is what's so amazing. Isn't it weird? He talks about this. The thoughtless, the ignorant, the indolent, seeing only the apparent effects of things and not the things themselves. Okay, they talk of luck, of fortune, and chance. So don't we do the same thing when somebody's rich, when somebody else has their dream house, somebody else is driving a dream car? We always either look at them negative, we look at them thinking, who do they take advantage of? You know what I mean? Or we look at them saying, oh, they're just lucky. Okay, maybe their parents, maybe their parents are rich and he got it from that. You know what I mean? So we talk about how lucky they are, or maybe it was their parents' fortune, or maybe it's just a luck by chance how they got it. That's what he's talking about here. Then he continues, seeing a man grow rich, they say, how lucky he is. Just like I said, when you see somebody rich, you say, at best, okay, you might say other really negative things. You say, oh, how lucky he is. Observing another become intellectual, they exclaim, how highly favored he is. Don't we do the same thing today? we see someone intellectual, we see someone that has a life that we want, maybe they're rich and wealthy, and they think the universe, he has favor with the universe, he has favor with a God. We think this way. And he continues, and noting the saintly character and wide influence of another, they remark how chance aids him at every turn. They do not, but now he twists it, but he says, they do not see the trials and failures and struggles which these men have voluntarily encountered in order to gain their experience. Isn't this so true? We don't see somebody's trials and failures and struggles that catapult them to the level they're at today. We never see the inside of it. We only see the outside. We only see the outside of they have everything that we want, but we don't see what it took for them to actually get it. They do not see the trials and failures and struggles which these men have voluntarily encountered in order to gain their experience, have no knowledge of the sacrifices they have made, of the undaunted efforts they have put forth, of the faith they have exercised. Remember, faith is belief, is expectation, that they might overcome the apparently insurmountable and realize the vision of their heart. They do not know the darkness and the heartaches. They only see the light and joy, and they call it luck. Isn't that so true? They do not see the long and odorous journey, but only behold the pleasant goal and call it good fortune. Do not understand the process, but only perceive the result and call it chance. Isn't that all true today when we see somebody else having the life that we want? In all human affairs, there are efforts and there are results, and the strength of the effort is the measure of the result. Chance is not. Gifts, powers, material, intellectual, and spiritual possessions are the fruits of effort. They are thoughts completed, objects accomplished, visions realized. Isn't that so true? Isn't that so powerful? I'll read this one more time and this wraps up the chapter. In all human affairs, there are efforts and there are results. So now he's talking about you reap what you sow. There's efforts and results. Whatever you put in, whatever effort you put in, you're going to get results. Now, some of them might not be what you want, but the more your effort, the more pure thoughts you have, the better your results. That's what he's talking about. In all human affairs, there are efforts and there are results. And the strength of the effort is the measure of the result. Chance is not. Luck is not. It's not lucky. It's not by chance. It's not like that somebody else has favor. Gifts, powers, material, intellectual, and spiritual possessions are the fruits of effort. They are thoughts completed, objects accomplished, and visions realized. The vision that you glorify in your mind, the ideal that you enthrone in your heart, this you will build your life by. This you will become. Isn't that so powerful? Okay, now here in the green section I highlighted, when you go back to universal law, remember, all universal laws work on the same plane. If there's a hot, there has to be a cold. Okay, if there's a positive, it has to be a negative. Every universal law has a direct opposite to it. If there's an up, there has to be a down. If there's a good, it has to be a bad. Okay, that's how universal law works. Okay, now with universal law, we put in, there's no discrimination. There's no favor. The law don't discriminate. Okay, the law doesn't play favorites. It's not like, well, God or the universal law loves Chad more than he loves somebody else, so they're going to favor Chad more. No, it doesn't work that way. The law doesn't discriminate. Then when you look at your subconscious mind doesn't discriminate. Your subconscious mind just is as is. It's giving you exactly what you think about all day long. Okay, whatever you fester on, whatever your deep beliefs are, whatever your secret thoughts are that's rummaging through your mind all day long, your subconscious mind is just like, well, you like that. So that's what you're thinking about all day long. That's what you like. You must like it because you're giving emotion to it. So I'm going to give you more of it. Doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. It's just what is. That's how it works. So this is why James Allen says at the very last paragraph here, the very last sentence here, the vision that you glorify in your mind Listen to that. The vision that you glorify in your mind, no matter if it's good or bad, your vision, your imagination, what you're giving your emotion to, the vision that you glorify in your mind, the ideal that you enthrone in your heart, this you will build your life by. This you will become. Meaning, whatever you think your mind, whatever you give emotion to, whatever your imagination, whatever you're using your imagination for, will manifest in your 3D world. So at this point, what are you thinking? At this point, what am I thinking? What am I constantly thinking all day long? Am I constantly thinking good? Or am I constantly thinking bad? Am I constantly thinking negative? Or am I constantly thinking, am I constantly positive? I did this in reverse. It's going to give you your dominant thoughts that you fester on over and over and over and over and over. This is when we have to become aware. If we notice that you're thinking negative all the time throughout the day, and you just jump from one negative thought to another, okay, that's okay. Because the first step is being aware of it. But once you're aware of it, once you're aware of what you're doing, guess what? The good news is you can fix it. You can stop that. You can start stopping those thoughts. Then you have affirmations that you say to yourself to get your thoughts focused on the good. So sometimes what I've been doing is if I'm looking at a situation I don't like and I start kind of going down a rabbit hole of thinking, well, I don't like this, I don't like what this happened, and I'm starting to think negative, I'll stop myself and I won't say an affirmation, but I'll ask myself a question. I'll say, what's the good in this? What do I like about this? What do I like about this person? Then my mind will try to figure out what I like. Then I'll focus on what I like. And I'll focus on the good out of it. That's the law of compensation. Is like always focus on the good. Always pull out the good. No matter if it's a negative situation, you always pull out the good. No matter if it's another person, you always pull out the good of what you like about them. You always focus on good. Because when you always focus on good and do the best focusing on good, our mind's going to drift here and there, but dominantly you're focusing on good. Laws of the universe, the laws of God, good has to come to you. So this is why he says, to wrap up this chapter, the vision that you glorify in your mind, the ideal that you enthrone in your heart, this you will build your life by. This will manifest in your 3D world. This you will become. You become what you think about. You become what you think about in your imagination. You will become that sooner or later. But other than that, my friends, this was a great chapter. This wraps up chapter 6. And we got one more chapter after this. We got chapter 7 after this. And this is that's the last chapter of the book. But of course, if you have a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know where you are with this. Let me know if you have any questions. And remember, I love you guys. Blessings to you. And hang in there. Don't give up. Have big dreams. Have lofty dreams. Have big goals. Because when you have big goals, big dreams, you go inside your imagination and you can see yourself living that lifestyle. Remember, if you can see it in your imagination, it can come to you and it will come to you. You just have to believe it. Other than that, my friends, blessings to you. Love you. And I'll see you in chapter 7.